He's done it. He's actually gone and done it. Evangelos Marinakis has sacked Nuno Espirito Santo as the manager of Nottingham Forest. I just woke up to this news today. I have to say I'm shocked at it. I mean, there were a lot of strong rumours about this potentially happening, but to actually see it happen, it's just another thing entirely. This is the manager that has taken Nottingham Forest from the brink of relegation, because they were on the edge of relegation. They were in a relegation battle when Nuno Espirito Santo actually took over the club just over a year ago, and he's taken them to Europe. Almost got them in the Champions League as well. It wasn't far off at all in the end. Yeah, incredible news. I am absolutely gobsmacked by that. I did not expect to be talking about this today. Who says that the international break is boring? So the biggest question that a lot of people will be asking is why? Why has he been sacked? Well, like I said, there have been rumours about potential bust-up, not only in private, but also in public as well. Remember what happened back in May when the Nottingham Forest were taking on Leicester City? Leicester, obviously, terrible side last season, got relegated in a canter. I believe at that point they were already relegated as well. And Forest dropped points. They almost lost the game, actually. I think they were actually behind for a decent portion of that game as well, if memory serves. And then Marinakis, the owner of Nottingham Forest, comes onto the pitch after the game and he confronts Nuno, and they have a bit of a discussion. And I kind of said at the time that people are reading a bit too much into it. It's not as big of a deal as what a lot of people might think it is, but at the end of the day, it doesn't really speak to a lot of harmony behind the scenes there. And so it proved. I never thought they would get rid of him so quickly like this. The Forest have won one, lost one, and drawn one so far this season. They're slap bang in the middle of mid-table. They made a lot of big signings towards the end of the transfer window. They clearly seem to financially back Nuno, and then they get rid of him. Unless these players they were bringing in was for somebody else. Maybe they got somebody else lined up. I don't know. But, Nuno has said that he's been fearing for his job. Even before the season started, there were a lot of rumours about him losing his job potentially. People were asking, are you going to be in charge of the club at the start of the season? And he was for 3 games. And now he's gone. So, they've clearly had a meeting, Marinakis and Nuno, and there's clearly been a disagreement. Whether that disagreement is about transfer policy, whether it is about expectations, I don't know. We don't know, and we will never know. But yeah, Forest fans, I think, will very much be a bit afraid for the future now. I mean, it all kind of hinges on who their next manager is. But who is going to be their next manager? Well, if you look at the bookie odds, the favourite at the moment around evens is none other than Ange Postecoglou. A bit of a Hellenic connection there between Marinakis and Postecoglou there. But yeah, that'll be an interesting one. Very much 2 managers that are very different, I'd say at the very least. Nuno, a lot more pragmatic. Postecoglou, Big Ange, no, he hates pragmatism. He's literally gone out and said it. So that would be a very big style change. Obviously, he is a manager who won the Europa League last season. Nottingham Forest are in the Europa League this season. They've never played in the Europa League. They may have played in the UEFA Cup back in the day, many, many moons ago. But they've not played in European competition in a long time. And getting a manager who's incredible at knockout football, a manager who can never be accused of producing boring football. Somebody who produces very entertaining football. From the neutral's perspective, I can imagine it's heart attack inducing if you were a Spurs fan back last season, and also maybe a Nottingham Forest fan going forwards, but like I said, cannot be accused of being boring. Someone who is accused of being boring quite a bit though, Jose Mourinho, obviously recently sacked by Fenerbahce. He's out of a job. He is rumoured to go to somewhere pretty soon, but for me, I don't really see that. I cannot see Mourinho and Marinakis seeing eye to eye on things. I mean, famous last words, you never say never in football, but I'm saying never on that one. Personally, I would be absolutely shocked if he goes there. Although it would be a very Mourinho move to try and bring back the Brian Clough days to Nottingham Forest. And Forest fans would absolutely love him. They would absolutely love him. But whether he'll go somewhere so quick, I don't know. I think he'll sit this season out and go somewhere else personally. But I could be wrong on that one. I never thought he'd manage somewhere like Fenerbahce. So there you go. Then you have to go down quite a bit in terms of odds. The next favourites are the likes of Brendan Rodgers at Celtic, who's been getting itchy feet recently about the board up there, saying he'll walk most likely if the owners don't show enough ambition. Sean Dyche, he's out of work. I doubt he'd go. I mean, that's kind of a backup option, really. And then it's Oliver Glasner after that. Glasner, of course, I think he's going to stay at Crystal Palace. I think maybe if Mark Gahey would have gone, then he'd want to leave. But I think he's going to stay at Palace, to be honest. He's got that Conference League to win for them at the end of the day. So for me, Ange is the one that's most likely. Big Ange back in the Premier League. You'd love to see it. I'd love to see that personally. And it's an appointment that makes sense. Maybe a bit of a style difference there, to say the least. But yeah, Nuno is going to be remembered as one of the best Nottingham Forest managers in the modern era. Probably the best, I'd say, personally, since the days of Brian Clough. You know, that was over 30 years ago, so you can't really call that the modern era anymore, to be honest, can you? He's a manager, of course, who worked absolute miracles at Wolverhampton Wanderers as well, got them back into Europe after 30 odd years, did the same with Forest. It's been like 40 odd years since they were in Europe, so yeah, he's going to be remembered very, very fondly, but unfortunately all things must come to an end, and when you've got a hothead, to put it politely, as the owner of your club, long-term stability is something that you can really only dream of at that point. So the managers will be coming in and out quite regularly. No one's going to stick around at Nottingham Forest for a long time with Marinakis being in charge, but let's see if it works out for him. It used to work for Chelsea back in the day, so we'll see what happens. But guys, let me know what you think. Forest fans, right decision or not? I think it's a decision that, if they have fallen out like they have done, it was only ever going to end up this way. You can't leave things festering. You can't leave things just kind of bubbling away behind the scenes like that. But we'll see who comes in. It all depends on who comes in. Like, share, comment, subscribe, guys, if you want to see more of this. Have a fantastic day wherever you're on the world today, and we'll see you very soon.